Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Gopal Ki, Anand Puri Vaishnava Ki, Nam Saraswati Das Thakur Ki, praise the Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Radha Shivasri Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath, Radha Kundi Govardhan Ki, Radha Vrindavan Ki, Maya Navadvitam Ki, Purushottam Shri Jagannath Paditam Ki, Suguramai Gandhamai, Joseph Bhakti Devi Ki, Haripa Harinam Sankirtan Ki, Ram Namare Krishna Mantra Ki, Priya Padam Chansan Shri Ki,
जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी गोपीजना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुनतीरावनचारी यमुनतीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद् हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Antaraj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, starting a new chapter, Chapter 10, the battle between the demigods and Vritrasura. The first three verses do not have a purport. So verse 4 is written on the board. Jijivishunam jivanam Atma Prishta Ihepsitaha Kautsahe Tatam Dhatum Bhikshamanaya Vishnave Jijivishunam Jivanam Atma Prishta Ihepsitaha Kautsahe Tatam Dhatum Bhikshamanaya Vishnave Jijivishunam Jivanam Atma Preshta Ihepsitaha Kautsahe Tatam Datum Bhikshamanaya Vishnave Jijivishunam Jivanam Atma Vishtabhivepsitaha Kotsahe Tatam Datum Bhikshamanaya Vishnave Jijivishunam Jivanam Atma Preshta Idepsitaha Ka Utsate Tam Datum Bhikshamanaya Vishnave Jijivishunam Jivanam Atma Preshta Ihepsitaha Kau Saheta Tam Datum Bhikshamanaya Vishnave. Ladies, please. Okay. Jiji Vishunam, aspiring to remain alive. Jivanam, of all living entities. Atma, the body. Preshthah, very dear. Iha, here. Ipsitah, desired. Kaha, who. Utsaheta, can bear. Tam, that body. Datum, to deliver. Bhikshamanaya, begging. Vishnave, even to Lord Vishnu. So I'm going to read from the first verse so we'll all get the context. Text number 1. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, after instructing Indra in this way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, the cause of the cosmic manifestation, then and there disappeared from the presence of the onlooking demigods. Text 2. O King Parikshit, following the Lord's instructions, the demigods approached Dadhichi, the son of Atharva. He was very liberal, and when they begged him to give them his body, he at once partially agreed. However, just to hear religious instructions from them, he smiled and jokingly spoke as follows. O elevated demigods, at the time of death, severe, unbearable pain takes away the consciousness of all living entities who have accepted material bodies. Don't you know about this pain? Today's verse. In this material world, every living entity is very much addicted to his material body. Struggling to keep his body forever, everyone tries to protect it by all means, even at the sacrifice of all his possessions. Therefore, who would be prepared to deliver his body to anyone, even if it were demanded by Lord Vishnu? Purport. It is said, Atmanam sarvato rakshit, tato dharmam, tato dhanam. One must protect his body by all means. Then he may protect his religious principles and thereafter his possessions. This is the natural desire of all living entities. No one wants to give up his body unless it is forcibly given away. Even though the demigods said that they were demanding the Dadichi's body for the benefit in accordance with the order of Lord Vishnu, the Dadichi superficially refused to give them his body. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We don't know how the Dadichi feels, particularly, except when he says it, but let's imagine something. Let's say we're happily conducting our Krishna consciousness, happy to have some service, our chanting, etc. And let's just imagine that out of the blue, someone very exalted, like the demigods. Of course, this is only imagination because demigods won't approach us, but just for the sake of exercise. They approach us and say, Lord Vishnu said, please give up your body right now. Give up your life. I mean, it's not easy. Um, when you look at the lives of very responsible people, the great sages, including our Srila Prabhupada, you will notice that they never disrespected or disregarded their body. They took good care of it. Uh, in fact, in very, very rare you would find someone abjectly ignoring their body. In general, they would take care of their body nicely. Uh, not because they're attached to their body, but because they see it as a very valuable vehicle and a gift from Krishna to preserve it for propagating Krishna consciousness, for development of their own Krishna consciousness. You'll never find Prabhupada uh, neglecting to take his medication or walking to keep it going, etc. Although he was not attached to it, completely detached from his body, yet taking good care of it. Because the body is considered to be a gift from Krishna, or particularly the property of the spiritual master. So one regards the body that way because it's the vehicle by which a person conducts their Krishna consciousness. If we didn't have a body, we'd be a ghost somewhere, right? We need a body. We need a gross body to express and cultivate our Krishna consciousness. On the other hand, this is the uh, paradox in the life of a materialist. A materialist is extremely attached to his or her body. In fact, this is the only deity that they know how to worship, and they take care of it very nicely, feeding it the enjoyable foods, bathing it in scents and cosmetics, and somehow to make sure that the wrinkles don't show, the Botox here and the pill there and the liposuction here and there, or whatever it takes to look and feel good. Yet, at the same time, they don't know how to utilize their body. They eat all sorts of things that are harmful. They practice all sorts of things that are harmful to their life. Uh, you know, Intoxication, meat eating, illicit sex. All these things deteriorate the body very, very quickly. Alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, tobacco in different forms. In the name of taking care of the body, all they can do is destroy it very badly. And to cover up the destruction, they have to go through cosmetic something, adjustments. But if one lives a very simple life of service to Krishna, one's body is automatically maintained properly. Of course, the natural forces of material energy will anyway work, that old age and disease, of course, death will also come. But it comes in a way that the pain is not so much. But the more the body is abused from the beginning, the more the body is abused, the diseases are very, very heavy. The pain is very, very intense. And one doesn't have, we use the word immunity, right? Immunity means resistance against disease. By living a life of abject sense gratification, one loses one's immunity to disease, but also one loses one's immunity to pain. That's why you notice that persons who are very attached to their body, even the slightest of things cause them extreme pain. It's because of pain and attachment go together. The intensity of attachment means there's an indication of the intensity of pain that is experienced. If we are not attached to something, we don't experience pain. Whatever we are attached to, If that thing is lost or taken away, we have great pain. True? Sangat sanjayate kama, kamat krodho vijayate. Anger is an expression of pain. But that topic some other day. Now there are persons who, in the name of not caring, they seem very indifferent to their bodies. Very much similar to the great sages, who are also very indifferent to their body. Yet, the difference between the two sages, between the sage and the idiot, if you will, is the idiot or the foolish person does not know the value of something. So if there's like you throw pearls before a swine, it's very valuable. But if you throw pearls before a great sage, does he value it? He doesn't care. You throw pearls before a swine, does he care for it? He's just going to grunt a little oink oink and move on. He doesn't care. But is the swine as detached as the great sage? No. The difference is that the swine is detached in ignorance or indifferent in ignorance, while the sage is detached or indifferent in knowledge. And naturally, the latter is more powerful. But to everyone, here the Dadichi is saying, to everyone, one's own body is very valuable. And one will preserve that under all circumstances. Because by nature, we are Sat Chit Ananda. We are eternal beings. And although we are eternal beings, we are in temporary bodies. That uh, that phenomena we try to either slow down or reverse. We want to live eternally. We don't want our bodies to deteriorate. We don't want our bodies to die. That's the inherent nature in us. We are eternal. And that inherent nature comes out in preservation of the body. It is the dearmost possession any one of us has. We are happy to give it up for something that we love or someone we love. We give it up for the sake of country. We give it up for the sake of a particular ideology or cause. We may give it up for someone we love. Yet, giving up one's body is the highest form of or expression of one's sacrifice because that's the dearmost possession. One will give up one's wealth. If life's at danger, if someone says, suppose we're walking on the street and someone mugs us, hope not, but just hypothetically speaking, give me all your money or I'm going to stab you. All that money, even if that little that we have, somehow we are detached. Oh, yeah, sure, take. We never say, I have $5. I would rather die, but save the $5. No one will say that. Even if I have $1,000, I will say I would rather save the 1,000. Kill me if you want. Very rare, or perhaps foolish. We preserve body. So Prabhupada says, Atmanam sarvato rakshayat. That the first order of business is to survive, or is to live, or to protect one's body. Now, these are moral principles, not necessarily spiritual. But yes, first thing to preserve is the body, because if you have life, you can do something with it. Even if you don't have money, that's fine. If you're alive, you can do something about it. But if you have money but no life, what's the use? So, Atmanam sarvato rakshet tato dharma. The next thing to protect is one's religious principles. Because if one has religious principles, wealth will come. On its own accord, it will come, even without trying very hard. Tato dhanam, then possessions. Because the natural progression of life is dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. The best way to gain wealth is to be religious. Because karmically, wealth is attracted to religiosity. Of course, in Kali Yuga, we see that more irreligious the persons are, the wealthier they are. Hmm? Correct? From gambling, they make a lot of money, or they cheat and lie and twist the facts to make money. They cheat person. It's Kali Yuga. That dhanam is different. That dhanam causes anxiety in the mind. One cannot enjoy oneself fully. It causes a lot of distress. Money that is uh, earned by dishonest means causes distress to the body and mind. But in the order of protecting something, first protect life or this body, then one's religious principles, and then one's possessions. And we see this, right? If in a house there is a fire, what would persons do? They don't go for their laptop first or their phone. In fact, they don't even think about their relatives first. They run out first. Correct? Very few people will say, oh, no, no, no. First, my laptop. They'll throw the laptop out of the window. Okay, that is safe. What else? Oh, my something, my phone. Okay, now those two things are safe. Now I can try to escape the fire. It's not like that. First thing is to preserve one's own life. Because if one can preserve one's life, everything else happens after that. Even on the plane, they say in the event that there is loss of oxygen, your masks will come down, and it doesn't say help the neighbor first. It says you first put on your own gas mask and then help others. No, no, I would like to help the whole plane first. Oh, Prabhuji, you won't be alive, perhaps. No, no, no. First, everyone else. It's not like it never happens. Very rare. Dadichi is talking from that perspective. He's in one sense playing with the demigods. That the most valuable possession is one's body. Even if Lord Vishnu asks for it, oh, come on, it's not so easy to give it up. And just the end of the previous chapter, we heard the story. Imagine Indra coming to Dadichi saying, please give up your body, when the same Indra came to say, do not give the specific mantras to the Ashwini Kumaras. You heard the story? Yes? Yeah. Do not give the mantras to the Ashwini Kumaras, else I will cut off your head. Just some time ago, he gives him a big threat. Somehow Indra likes to cut off heads. Uh, and then comes back and says, can you please give up your body? One has to, even if someone is very nice to them, they'll say, I'll think about it. He's the person who threatened to cut off his head, and he actually did, right? That's why he had a horse head that got replaced back with the Dadichi's original head by the Ashwini Kumar. And now he's coming back to saying, can you please give up your body for me? Because I want to be the king. I don't want to be killed by a demon. Can you die for me, please? What a request, huh? Oh, by the way, Lord Vishnu said you should. Please do. Prabhupada says no one wants to give up his body unless it is forcibly given away. Even though the demigod said that they were demanding the Diji's body for their benefit in accordance with the order of Lord Vishnu. Now there are cases where great personalities have given up their body for the sake of someone else. Two pastimes. In a previous purport, we hear about King Shibi. Along with Dadichi's name, in the purport, Prabhupada refers to King Shibi. You know the story of King Shibi? Okay. King Shibi was a very, very charitable king. He was so charitable that he never refused anyone anything that was asked of him. So naturally, a person like that, his fame spreads all over. and his fame spread to the heavenly kingdom. Indra and all the other demigods came to know, to hear about a king on the earthly realm who's very charitable. Said, okay. And one day, it just so happened that the king was engaged in a particular sacrifice where he was giving away his possessions in charity. A little pigeon, dove, came and sat on his lap, and that pigeon was shivering out of fear. So the king said, why are you afraid? Just don't be peaceful. I am the king, and anyone who takes my shelter has nothing to fear. So the pigeon said, no, no, I cannot be peaceful because I am being persecuted by an eagle, and the eagle wants to eat me. So I'm being predated by this eagle. So the king said, no, no eagle can eat you because you've taken my shelter. I will take care of you. Once you've taken my shelter, nothing to fear. Then the eagle came flying in, and he said to the king, you may be very charitable, but in your charity there is some discrepancy. The discrepancy is that you are disturbing the natural order of life. That bird is my lunch, and it's with you. The king said, but I'm so sorry. I've promised this little bird that he will be protected. Go find your lunch somewhere else. So the eagle said, no, it's not okay. Yeah, it's a natural order. And since you've taken my lunch, you need to give something from your possessions to compensate for taking away my lunch. The king said, fair enough. What would you like? I can get you some meat. The eagle said, no, no. Since you're protecting the bird, you should give your own meat. King Shibi said, all right, that's fair enough. I will give meat from my body that is equal in weight to this bird's weight. So he got a weighing scale, put the pigeon on one side of the weighing scale, and cut from his own body, from his thighs, a lump of flesh that was equal in weight to the pigeon. And as soon as he placed it on the weighing scale, somehow the pigeon became heavier. So King Shivi said, "Oh, fellow looks very lean and thin, but is really packed up nicely." So he cut some more flesh and put it on the scale, and the bird became heavier. Then he kept on cutting flesh from his parts of his body, and the bird became heavier and heavier. Can you imagine cutting some flesh off our own body? We can't imagine getting a cut. Imagine taking flesh out. That was his power. But the pigeon went on becoming heavier and heavier and heavier. It's like, what is this pigeon, man? Very interesting fellow. He didn't complain. And finally he realized that, well, it's not sufficient. Whatever flesh I'm cutting off is not enough. So he said, I will give myself. And he sat on the other side of the weighing scale, saying, I give up my life for this little bird. Now, it sounds nice, but imagine he's a king, he's an emperor. So many persons are dependent on him. But he's giving up his life for a completely obscure, irrelevant bird. Because he also believed that the bird is his praja, his citizen. And for one citizen, he's willing to give up his life. And as soon as he sat on the other side of the scale, transcendentally or mystically, the pigeon turned into Agni and the eagle turned into Indra, the demigods. And they said, we came to test your charitable nature. We wanted to see, for you, is charity greater than your own life? And you've proven that it is. So your glory will be sung throughout the universe for eternity. Therefore, when Parikshit Maharaj was born, and when his horoscope was being read out, one of the qualities that they read is King Parikshit will be as charitable as King Shibi. So giving up one's life is not easy. It's very, very difficult. Um, I was going to say something else about giving up body. I think I forgot. So that's this as part of what it means to give up one's body, even when Lord Vishnu has asked for it. Any questions, comments? Yes, Krishna Nam Prabhu.
Can we apply this principle, Prabhu, for our spiritual lives? First, take care of yourself, and after that, take care of others? Or it's too egoistic?
Yes, why not? What do you say? We already are. Uh, well, even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Janma sarthaka kari, kara para upkar. First perfect your life and then help others. Of course, we do it together. We're supposed to do it together while we're taking care of us, uh, serving others. But if you're only serving others in such a way that our own chanting of the holy name, our own study of scripture, uh, and our own sadhana in general is becoming compromised, that should be a red flag somewhere. Because we are not independent sources of mercy. We are only carriers of mercy. We are like a well that is fed by a water table and that is fed by an ocean. But if we feel or if we see ourselves as independent wells, at some point in time all the water will be finished and will become a dry well. From a dry well will become a blind well, and then we'll give all the foolish people shelter. Right? A blind well is where people fall and die. So we won't have anything to give unless we ourselves are connected to the source of all of the mercy. So while we are helping others, we should make sure that we are also connected to the personality of Godhead through the parampara. So both are necessary. We shouldn't be so worried about my connection to the parampara that we totally ignore others. That is also not how Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur revived the mission of Lord Chaitanya. Both are necessary. In fact, he particularly started this whole Goshti Anandi movement that we do go out of our way to help others. Yes. But to go out of our way to help others, the strength for it comes from our own connection to the parampara. And I'm saying it another way. Only when we are connected to the parampara will the genuine sense of compassion in our heart awaken. When we are not connected to the parampara, the compassion that we experience or want to show is material in nature. It will die, it will change after some time. It's called manorathena dhavato bhahi, asati dhavato bhahi. Manoratha means it is something of, uh, it's a mental thing. Today I feel like helping someone, tomorrow they are bad to me or they don't recognize how much I've helped them, to hell with them. That is manoratha. But to actually help someone, even when the person being helped becomes antagonistic to the person helping, still they continue helping. And that for that, one has to be connected to the parampara. That is compassion. So we need to answer straightforward. Yes, we need to take care of ourselves too, as well. Of course, we should have the spirit of sacrifice in us, no doubt. But we need to know when to do what. Sometimes we may not consider it this way. Sometimes, why sometimes? Every time. By our attending the morning program with everyone else, actually is our service not only to ourselves but to others also. So when we have to chant the holy name, when we say, I'm chanting the holy name, by my doing so, I'm actually serving others as well. Because if I don't, and then I interact with others, then I will pass on my useless conceptions to others. When I chant, I have the right conceptions, I develop them, I develop genuine humility, etc. So, in my interactions, people with others, they can exchange genuine qualities, they can exchange faith in Krishna. Otherwise, we'll be sitting and talking, you know, outside there, the prospects of money making. Why are we doing this? Oh, yes. Or something, being a little dramatic here. But yeah, so do we take care of ourselves? Absolutely. Do we take care of ourselves in such a way that we come across as being completely selfish? No. We need to learn to balance it, and therefore we need proper guidance as to how to balance that, how to extend ourselves at the same time nourish our own selves. Generally, what happens, I'm extending this answer. Generally, what happens is if we follow the lifestyle Srila Prabhupada has given us, you know, our program this in the morning looks like this, in the evening looks like this. If we can follow that, or follow a program given by the spiritual master, which may be adjusted according to one's circumstances, if we can follow that, then there is ample opportunity for serving others. When we don't follow like that, then we find that all our time is consumed on doing the basics for ourselves. Then even when someone needs any help, we'll be like, sorry, bro, I had to change my rounds now. We, because we don't know, we didn't organize ourselves in such a way where we are available to do some service for others. So having a proper sadhana for the kind of lifestyle we have, organize it in such a way such that there is time for ourselves and for others. And how to organize? So if someone can help us, great. Or if we can do it on our own, great, no problem. Otherwise, it's all mixed up. That's where the difficulties arise. Oh, right now, I can't, I'm not available. I have to chant my rounds. Oh, how come? Oh, I didn't wake up in the morning. I missed the whole program. So naturally. Then we struggle with that because part of it is within us, we have this, we say, genuine desire to serve others. But at that time, we were chanting our rounds, we're thinking, oh man, I didn't do my service. Hare Krishna, whatever. And if we were to drop that and go do some service, our whole mind would be, I didn't chant my rounds, I didn't chant my rounds. So we're neither here nor there. If you're chanting, our mind is what we have not done. And if you're doing some service, our mind is, I still need to finish my rounds, I need to finish my rounds. And the problem is not because service is too much or chanting is too, it's just we didn't follow a proper regulation. Yes. Long answer for a short question, but that's could have been done in yes or no. Anything else? Okay, go next verse. Text number 5. 5 doesn't have purport. Um, the demigods replied, O exalted Brahmana, pious persons like you, whose activities are praiseworthy, are very kind and affectionate to people in general. Why can't such pious souls give for the benefit of others? Wow, easier said than done. They can give everything, including their bodies. It's really nice. This is flattering them like, oh, great Brahmana, you're such a pious person that for you, what is your body? You're happy to give it up for others. You're very kind and affectionate to people in general. Why can't souls give up their life for the benefit of others? Woohoo! Very nice. Next one. Those who are too self interested beg something from others, not knowing of others' pain. But if the beggar knew the difficulty of the giver, he would not ask for anything. Similarly, he who is able to give charity does not know the beggar's difficulty, for otherwise he would not refuse to give the beggar anything he might want as charity. Wow, that's amazing. So they are saying, the beggar doesn't know how difficult it is for the person giving. Uh, but at the same time, if the giver doesn't understand the pain, he may not be able to give. Purport. This verse describes two people, one who gives charity and one who begs for it. A beggar should not ask charity from a person who is in difficulty. Similarly, one who is able to give charity should not deny a beggar. These are the moral instructions of the Shastra. Chanakya Pandita says, Sannimite varam tyago vinashe niyate sati. Everything within this material world will be destroyed, and therefore one should use everything for good purposes. If one is advanced in knowledge, he must always be prepared to sacrifice anything for a better cause. At the present moment, the entire world is in a dangerous position under the spell of a godless civilization. If Krishna consciousness movement needs The Krishna consciousness movement needs many exalted, learned persons who will sacrifice their lives to revive God consciousness throughout the world. We therefore invite all men and women advanced in knowledge to join the Krishna consciousness movement and sacrifice their lives for the great cause of reviving God consciousness of human society. Prabhupada's being very, very liberal. He says we invite all men and women advanced in knowledge. And yet we have a place because we are not advanced in knowledge and we've joined the Hare Krishna movement. The point here, I'm going to skip the moral part that it's proper to give according to one's capacity, one should give without denying. I'm going to skip that part. We anyway give our lives for some ideology that we hold on to. We dedicate ourselves to such ideologies. For some, it is to save the dolphins. For some, it is to save the redwoods. For some, it is to fight for their country. For some, it is something else, humanity, something, something, something. But if something we have to give our lives up for, it'd rather be for the propagation of the Hare Krishna movement or God consciousness in general. Because that cause has the worthy benefit of eternal life. Any other ideology has a problem. Not only is it temporary, the reactions from it may be quite different than we had hoped for and expected. So, for example, let's say we dedicate ourselves to the ideology of saving the redwoods. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but if that's what we did, we would get another life that would be back on this planet Earth in Kali Yuga, and by that time, no one cares for the redwoods. And all our effort in the previous life, one, we may not be aware of it, and two, has gone to waste anyway. So rather that one gives up one's life or life's energy in something by which not only we but the receivers also get eternal benefit. That is important to know. What am I doing? Is my effort leading to any benefit to others? First, and second, eternally. If it's not eternal benefit, after all that effort, for what? Something is better than nothing. Sure, we accept that. But if it has got to be something, why not the best? Why not that by which ourselves and others are eternally benefited by development of God consciousness? So Prabhupada is um, emphasizing this, that if something we have to give our life for, let it be for the propagation of God consciousness. And for that, one requires knowledge. Knowledge that I'm putting all my effort, hopefully, into something eternal, not something that's transient, temporary, here today, gone tomorrow. And that's not worth it. So, any comments?
Hare Krishna. This was from the question Krishnanam Prabhu, right? Krishnanam, yeah. Prabhu had asked, like the relationship between our internal cultivation and reaching out to others and making sure there's no compromise. If it's alright, there was one verse I thought of that has helped me in trying to find, like, to reconcile.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorite verses.
Demigods. Being the most faithful follower of the path of religion, you thus left for the forest in obedience to a Brahman's curse. Out of sheer mercifulness, you chased after the fallen conditioned souls, who are always in pursuit of the false enjoyment of illusion, and at the same time engaged in searching out your own desired object, Lord Shyam Sundar. So I was appreciating this last part of the verse explains that Lord Chaitanya was, please correct me if my understanding is, or if you have some other appreciation also. Lord Chaitanya, at the same time, he's engaging in these outreach activities on behalf of the fallen conditioned souls. It's a natural expression of his desire to attain the mercy of his beloved object. So it's like it's a simultaneous act of compassion, but also internally desiring deeper connection with his worshipful Lord.
That verse is also said to describe or glorify the Shadbhuja form, because that verse applies to Lord Chaitanya, it applies to Krishna, it applies to Lord Ramachandra as well. And that purport gives explanation of how it applies to three of them. And it's a really fantastic verse. When it is applicable to Krishna and Lord Ramachandra, we don't say that for that they're cultivating their own Krishna consciousness per se. Similarly for Lord Chaitanya as well, but he took on the particular role of a devotee for the benefit of the conditioned souls. So yes, we can say that in his own pursuit of Shyamasundar, Lord Krishna, he also brought others into that fold. Um, although we see now moving from that to, in an ordinary sense, some people they don't know how to, they don't see self-care as part of caring for others, and that's sometimes the utsahamayi feature of a neophyte, because the utsahamayi thinks, oh, nothing for me, everything for them, and a materialist thinks everything for me, nothing for them. uh, and a sage, like a learned devotee, more advanced, also thinks everything for them, but within that is self-care, which is also for them. For example, all of our spiritual masters, if they said to us, okay, I don't need to chant Hare Krishna anymore, any problems you have, come, let's solve them. No. When we see our spiritual masters chant Hare Krishna, participate in the program, study and teach and all that, it inspires us that, oh, I'm supposed to take care of myself that way. We never see Prabhupada giving up his own practices of Krishna consciousness. Of course, no one could follow his schedule. This is too difficult. But he had a very regulated schedule of his own chanting, his own bhajan, while he was helping everyone else, not at the cost of it. And that actually is inspiring because we are supposed to learn in our Krishna consciousness how to internalize the teachings given by Prabhupada and the followers of Srila Prabhupada such that we can take care of ourselves. That is important to know. Because a healthy movement or community learns what's called interdependence. And interdependence lies between independence or independent mindedness and abject dependence. Now, if you have sensed it, I'm sure in your experience, that super independent mindedness is a cause of a problem, right? Abject dependence is a cause of a problem too, because the person doesn't know or wants to be told, okay, now left foot forward. Okay, now move the brush 10 times on your right and move to 10 times on your left. Come on, this is in the beginning, maybe, but that's not how the rest of life is going to be conducted. Like, oh, I don't know what to do with my toothbrush today because Prabhu is not here or Maharaj is not. Come on, you're supposed to learn a few things, figure out, and help others as well. So that the balance right in between is interdependence. Interdependence means we learn to assimilate the teachings and understand the mood of Srila Prabhupada, the mood of Guru, and in situations learn how to apply. When in doubt, ask. That's interdependence, right? And that's healthy for a community. On this side is risky, and on this side is painful. So yes, we take care of ourselves and
Hare Krishna. There was, if it's all right, I had one follow-up.
sure.
Um,
Let me say one more thing.
Yeah,
Suppose we are going out for preaching program or Harinam or distributing books. We never prepared, we don't know anything from our books because we never studied them. We never chanted our rounds. We don't know what are in the books, but we're very eager to give it to others. How's it going to work? Where is the potency without chanting of the holy name to go out to help anyone? If you were to give anyone any advice, where's the potency for it? If you distribute a book, they will say, what's in the book? No, I don't know. This is for you, though. Or like that. No realizations. Because when we study, our realizations are meant to stand on Sat platform. But if there's no basis, then what? So when we take care of ourselves, taking care of others becomes natural and easy. Easier. I shouldn't say easy. Never easy.
I was, I appreciate these points you're making. They resonate with me. The specific appreciation from this verse is that our outreach is a form of self-care. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur prays that he's going to get the commission for each living entity who takes the holy name, and he gets a commission from that. So I'm seeing in this verse there's not necessarily a discrete line between the internal care and the external outreach, because the outreach is a very powerful form of self-care. It's my appreciation of this verse. Is that, what do you think about that?
It depends on what stage, though.
Definitely.
When Bhaktivinoda Thakur or Lord Chaitanya, there is something inherent, substantial that they can give at early stages of Krishna consciousness, we're developing, we're building that reserve. And part of that building of the reserve is also to share, because Shravanam and Kirtanam both are necessary. Unless we have a forum to express our realizations, the realizations don't settle deep in our hearts. So Kirtanam is along with Shravanam. So both are necessary. They're side by side. But we do make a little line that it shouldn't be Kirtanam without Shravanam, because after some time the reserves won't be there. It's the same thing that we repeat again and again without depth of realization. So that's why we say there is a line in that sense, and that line, it may not be clear to us, but it may be clear to those guiding us, that may say, I think this, just strengthen this side now. Now strengthen this side. They help us see the line. Justin.
Wondering what precautions can we take, or what can prevent us from ending up like tricking ourselves into thinking we're reaching out to like please Krishna, versus like really just doing it in a self-serving kind of way where we're just, you know, egotistically thinking we're like, you know, these great personalities when we're really not qualified yet to like be trying to, you know, reach out so much. I
Well,
could have worded that better.
we in the absence of humility, we can't tell. So we are asked to cultivate the sense of humility, because by humility we can discern things. That's one. Second, uh, to cultivate that humility, one is meant to develop the mood of an instrument of Krishna. Generally, we have a tendency to think that because we're conditioned deeply to think of competing with Krishna. That's a big transformation, to competing with Krishna to becoming a servant of Krishna, because we're giving up that fight with Krishna. All right, you're God, I'm your servant. Fine. We may say that, but our conditioned nature keeps bringing up the competitive spirit. Somewhere we want to feel like Krishna. So humility brings us to that position of being a servant of Krishna. And that humility comes from learning to be an instrument of Krishna. And how to learn to be an instrument is through hearing from the founder Acharya and others that we are but tiny, very tiny, insignificant fellows. And whatever we are able to give is the mercy of the previous parampara. And whatever comes in terms of appreciation or changes in others, you said something to someone, they took your advice and their life changed. Wow. Or you gave a book, they took it. Or, someone got inspired by your some way of expressing Krishna consciousness. The moment we think, me, finished. But we continue to say, this is the mercy of the parampara. I'm just speaking on their behalf. Then we learn to feel like they feel. Otherwise, we feel something very different. The moment we feel that we are the source of the cause of something that has happened, we disconnect from the parampara. Because to be connected to parampara, we need something else. We need to sense that I'm lacking and I'm just passing on. But the egotism, that I did something. Sometimes we can say, I did something. Of course, we are contributing. But in that should be humility that, yeah, Krishna empowered me to do so. But it is Krishna's mercy anyway. Krishna Shakti Vina Nahe Tara Pravarta. Without Krishna's empowerment, nothing happens. Nothing. So our own cultivation of Krishna consciousness is that realization. Without Krishna's empowerment, nothing happens. Does that address you? Yeah, Bhakti Luke?
You mentioned the importance of being connected to the parampara. Could you share? I know it's a big topic.
Mm-hmm.
Could you share briefly just a few points that distinguish this parampara from other, like Vaishnav paramparas that have very similar principles, but they're not ours?
I'm not sure I fully understand the question.
Question is, given the importance of being connected to our disciplic succession as aspiring representatives of that disciplic succession, and also bearers of the mercy that is coming down through the disciplic succession, what distinctive features of our disciplic succession set it apart from other bona fide Vaishnav paramparas?
Hmm. Yeah, because I would be doing injustice without explaining myself. Because the injustice would be um, either seeming disrespect or fanaticism. I don't want to. But most important thing is, in general, a sense of fidelity. Um, Usually, the example of a tree is given. Um, that the root is Krishna anyway. There may be different branches. One branch is diametrically opposite the other branch, seemingly, but they're connected to the same root. So, a leaf connected to a particular twig that is connected to a branch, etc., may look very different from, or look similar, but has its place on that branch. If this leaf feels I should be there, it gets blown away by the wind. That's usually like a analogy that's given. So our nourishment, we're like a leaf. Our nourishment is when we are connected to that branch only. I mean, not that we cannot change sampradayas. People do. The point is the sense of fidelity to know that I'm still connected to that root, this way or that way. Gives a greater appreciation for accommodating other paramparas. At the same time, I'm part of a particular parampara. Correct. And the diversity is I'm still a leaf on this branch. Ah, well, a particular Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu um, tried to integrate the different paramparas. He took two teachings from each. Yet within that is the distinction that he is giving us access to the uh, the love of the gopis towards Krishna in Vrindavan. Other paramparas also reach Krishna, but the mood is different. The particular form of the particular sense of intimacy is different. And this, through Lord Chaitanya, is, we believe, the most intimate access to Krishna, because the Vrajavadus had that. Um, Not to say that others are not valuable, or that's wonderful. This is what inspires us, and that's what we would like to gain from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. The mood is proper, so we don't, in our mantras and all, also we don't mix and match things from this sampradaya, that sampradaya. We have respect. We can accept prasadam and all that, that's cool. But our core mantras by which we get that access is very much that Lord Chaitanya gave us in the mood of what we recite and all of that. Like we may go to a South Indian temple, they recite Vishnu Sahasranama. That's fantastic, the names of Lord Vishnu. That's not our mood. It's not a violation of it, it's just not our mood. Just as the gopis saw Krishna in Kurukshetra and it just didn't cut it for them. But he was very opulently dressed. Is it our Krishna? We only remember him differently. Same Krishna, but mood is different. I feel like I'm to say something to Justin's question, not to you, to the question. Um, at an early stage of Krishna consciousness for all of us, even in extending to others, to some degree it's all right to think that it is from my purification that I'm doing this. So it might seem self serving, even extending to others. To some degree, that's okay because we're being honest, right? And within that honesty, we're operating that Krishna would be pleased with me that I'm extending unto someone else. I'm doing something for someone else. And I really need Krishna being pleased with me because as my heart becomes purer, then I'm not so thinking about what's the benefit for me that I'm. So it's all right. It's just as long as we're honest, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, that Prabhu, I felt that Krishna would be pleased with me, so I couldn't really do anything for you because I didn't want him to. It's not like that. We operate from where our realization is, and we hope that our realization becomes deeper and takes us out of, it's always for my benefit per se. Of course, natural humility will say, you know, I don't have what it takes, the great acharyas. I'm just trying to do something to purify my own existence, which is also sweet. If that's a factual realization, that's very sweet. Okay. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai.